When you hear the word poverty, what do you think of? The first thing that springs into my mind is children starving in Africa. We've all seen the kind of charity appeals on TV, people living in really squalid conditions and struggling to feed themselves. I also think about people in this country living in really horrible housing conditions, really squalid council houses and places that I really wouldn't want to find myself living in. I think a lot of people these days also live in kind of mental poverty. They think that their opportunities are really scarce. They think that there's no way they can possibly climb the ladder. They think there's no way that their situation can improve. If you're one of those people, I think simply reframing your mind to look at things a different way could actually be a massive help. Let's take money for example. A lot of people think, oh, I'm skint, I've got no money, I'm completely broke at the moment. But is that actually the case? Do you actually have no money? Or are you just comparing yourself to someone who is quite wealthy and can afford to do the things that you want to do? We live in an age where people with lots of money are quite often thrust in front of us through things like television programmes, magazines, social media as well. So it's very easy to get stuck in that trap of comparing yourself to other people. Lots of people also think they're earning a very low wage in their job, but what are you actually comparing that to? Compare your work situation to a child who's being forced to work in a diamond mine in Sierra Leone, probably at gunpoint and probably for pennies. Is your situation really as bad as that? I bet if you compare your work situation to that, 18 grand a year probably doesn't seem that bad. Sticking with a work theme, if you've got a job which you consider pretty menial, pretty dead end, think of it from a different perspective. Where could you actually go with your job? If you're one of those people that is just kind of plodding along in their work life, start making a plan for yourself. Where would you like to be in 5 years' time? What would you like to be doing in 10 years' time? Write it down and start making a plan of how you're going to get there from where you are now. And from that, you'll start to see what your next step should be. Lots of people think quite negatively about the area where they live or the area or the circumstances where they've grown up. Back in 2011 there were some pretty horrendous riots in the UK. It started off in London and then spread across the country. And the news were kind of interviewing a lot of these young people who were saying, you know, we've got no opportunities, we've got no work, we just can't see our lives going anywhere. Now think about that for a second. If you live in London, a world city, one of the richest cities in the world, are you seriously telling me there are no opportunities for you? Are you seriously telling me there are no opportunities there? Now, some people grow up in areas that are quite rural, areas where there aren't actually that many job opportunities, and it might be necessary to actually move away to find work. If that's the case, then do it. Broaden your horizons. Don't just stay in the same area where you're not getting any work, and then you're just going to feel more and more miserable about the situation. Do something about it. Now let's carry this over to the world of romance. Lots of people who've been single for a long time, haven't been able to get a date for a while, they start to get depressed about it, and I'll be honest, I've been there, so don't worry. The problem is, if you start thinking of yourself as someone who's single, someone who hasn't been on a date for ages, someone who's probably not attractive, you're going to come across as being needy, you're going to come across as someone who doesn't value themselves, and to be honest, it's going to come across as unattractive. I really do believe that poverty and perceived lack of opportunity is all a mental state. You've got to start thinking in a more positive frame of mind. If you're not happy with whatever situation you're in life, it can change. In terms of money, start thinking about the bigger picture. Think how much money you do actually have compared to a lot of other people in the world. If you're watching this video, you're probably living in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. If you feel like your opportunities are scarce, I think you really do have to start looking around and taking note of what's around you. Most of the Western world is now out of recession. There are lots and lots of opportunities out there for starting a business and starting to climb the career ladder. And if you are really unhappy in terms of your work life, then change it. You've only got one life. Don't waste it living in poverty, either mentally or in real terms. But it all begins up here. If you found this useful or helpful, then like and subscribe to the channel. You can also find us at Twitter, Facebook and Instagram.